I'm Dave from Aron Movers. We're located in Oakland, New Jersey, right across the bridge from Philadelphia in South Jersey. One of the biggest questions that customers have for us is about packing. Packing glass isn't as straightforward as it seems, and there's definitely a right way and a wrong way to do it. So today I'm going to be showing you a couple tips and tricks that I use every time to pack everything well. So step one is going to be to prepare your area. Today we're going to be packing on this oak hardwood table, so we want to put some sort of cloth or sheet over it to protect it from scratches. The second step is going to be our packing materials. So right here we have our bundle of paper. We have a marker, a razor knife, and some tape. Your boxes are off to the side. Start with your biggest dishes first, and then move down to smaller and smaller, and we're going to do different stacks and sizes and see how it fits into our boxes. The next step is going to be to grab your box. Flip it over. So we're going to tape the box. Start with our tape. One right across the middle. And then what we're going to do to make this support the amount of dishes that we have in here is we're going to offset tape on each side of that. All right. So then we're going to flip the box over. So here we have one dish that's bigger than the rest, so we'll do this one first to get it out of the way and into the box. So with any normal dish, you're going to start with one piece of paper, put your dish down. What I like to do is kind of turn the paper a little bit, and then grab a couple. All right, so that's how I would pack one dish. So we're going to put it in there on its side. What I do when I have a stack of dishes that are all the same size, you start like this. You can include this, it doesn't hurt. It'll just add extra cushion. So you put it there, probably offset it a bit, and then do a sheet or two over top. Next dish on top of it. Another two, dish. Two more, dish, two more, dish, two more. So that was about 5 or 6 dishes, that's fine. So you take that big bundle and then you just fold it up. You go ahead and set them in there, set them right next to the dish that's already in there. Now repeat, because we still have some left. So we have 3 left in this pile. To make another even pile, we'll just stop here, do these, do that one, and then we'll be on to the next size. Okay. All right, now it's on to the next size. Next up, after we have some of the bigger dishes in there, we're gonna do some of these bigger bowls. So same deal, a couple pieces, spin it a little bit. I don't know if that actually does anything, but I feel like it does. So 3 pieces of paper, another bowl on there. We always want to make sure that the paper is going to fully cover the bowl or the dish or whatever you're packing. So got 3 more, roll it up. All right, so this will go in on its side as well. We have basically one line across the bottom, so we're going to stuff some more paper down the sides and in between the rows, just so we make sure that they're not going to be hitting together. And then some between this first row that we did and then what's going to end up as the second row. So that's going to be the base. You always want to put the heavy stuff down there, and then we'll do smaller and then lighter stuff on the top. Try not to clink them all together. Now, since those first dishes were so big, they take up most of the bottom row. So we're going to put these ones in sideways, but still keeping them on their sides just to keep them vertical. So these ones are smaller, but they get the same treatment. So the space that we have left is probably about that wide. Put that up a little together. All right, now paper around the sides, finish that layer off. So we have done all the way around the sides. Now we want to do on top. So again, just crumble a lot up, throw it on top. All right, so we got a decent base, and I'll now show you a trick that I do. So we start with one of these smaller boxes. We're going to tear this apart to get some cardboard out of it. If you have spare stuff already, that works great. You can use that. But this is what I have. So obviously make sure you don't cut yourself or cut through to the table. All right. So we take a piece, you know, it's just one side. Kind of make it so it's going to fit in there. All right, you just got to fold this up a little bit. And this will slide right down on top. So that gives us a nice base to build on. You know, we're going to put a little more paper on top of that. So we have these smaller dishes again. We're going to do the exact same thing, except when we put these ones in there, I'm going to have them go in a different direction. The first row primarily went this way. So with this row, we're going to go this way. All right. Okay. And then just place them in like that. And then your next stack. I got two left in this, we can probably get away with doing it. Okay. Grab them. Start with the biggest ones or odd-shaped ones. You know, these are pretty similar to the ones that we were doing already, so we'll go back to doing these. Bring these a little closer to the bend around. Okay, hold with that because that'll give us two stacks that are about the same size. It's in there. All right, we can probably fit one more dish down the side, and we have a single one that doesn't have a match, so that's the one that's going to be used. All right, so get that one in there. All right, and then we'll finish off with these ones over here, and then pack all around the sides with extra cushioning in between, all that stuff, and then we'll go on to the next layer. So some of these are already chipped, so we just want to be careful. This set is actually very thin and fragile, so that's why I'm using 2 pieces of paper on pretty much every dish, at least 2 pieces. If your stuff is a little more durable, you know, you can get away with using less paper, but it's a nicer set, so I want to use more. Okay. All right. No chip. And if you're doing this professionally, I would recommend writing on these stacks after you get them wrapped up that there's 2 broken pieces of plate in there with big chips out of them, just so the customer knows that you didn't do it. Right. Okay. Kind of the dishes, another thing. All right, so we got some coffee cup sauces here. We end up using size of plates, but that's all right. So we'll just continue on with our stacks, which are all lined up. All right, one more. So for instance, this stack here, I'll make this 4, and you can see how much easier it rolls up. So that's going to finish off this level. We're going to go all the way around, you know, separate them from the outside, and then put some paper on top. And then once we get cushioning in there, it probably isn't going to leave us a ton of room to do a lot. So we'll just fit in what we can that we can do safely. Keep pulling around. Paper on top. Right, so we have a little bit of room left. You can get some stuff on top if you'd like. You can also close the box off if you want. If you're going to close it off, just make sure you use enough paper to fill up the top of the box, just so when you put anything on top of this, when you're loading it, that it doesn't cave through. We're going to wrap up this candlestick. We'll get that in there on its side. Just kind of how it fits best in there. Since it's not super fragile, we'll keep that on top, but we got to make sure that it doesn't hit anything that is actually fragile below it. So right there, that's good. We got most of the sugar cleared out. We definitely want to do that so it's not going to pour out when you're transporting the box, and then you open it up and you have a box full of sugar or ants. So this kind of goes the same way. We're going to put it in the middle, a couple sheets over top. I usually wrap the lids along with it. So, we got a couple sheets of paper on there. I usually put them in upside down to kind of protect that handle on top. And then the same deal. So this just gets wrapped up. And then this one, we'll put this one in there flat as if it were sitting on a table, just so it fits a little bit better. All right, that's in there. And then these things, whenever I do wrap any kind of light, I always take the light bulb off. If it breaks in there, it's a pain to get it out, so you want to just take it out. Put it to the side, and I usually just give that to the customer. All right. At this point, we really don't have too much other small stuff that'll go into this box, so we'll just put some paper in there, seal it up, and then move on to the next one. So we'll find the flex of the box that has no writing on it. Those go in first. That way. And then we're going to tape it up just like we did the bottom. And then we're going to write the room that this box is going to be going to at the new place. So even though this is coming from the dining room here, it might not be going to the dining room at the new place. It might be going to the kitchen. So you want to find out where it's going to be going, and then you write either, if it is going to the kitchen, write kitchen on it, just so it doesn't end up in a different place and you don't have to move it twice. All right, so we got that taped up, and then I used the roll, kind of iron everything out. That sets the tape on the box, and that's not going to come off until you want it to. Our customer is going to be putting this in the dining room, so we're going to write what's in the box. So we're going to write, dishes or china, whatever it is, and then the room it's going to. So we'll do dining room or DR, and then we'll do china, dishes. All right, so hopefully those tips helped you get started packing some glass. Just remember, use a lot of paper, all the cushioning and crumbling up a lot before, it's going to help everything stay in one piece and make the move. So if you have any questions or concerns, just give us a call. You can call us at the office. It's 856-854-1993, or you can check us out on any of the social media platforms. So thanks a lot. Take care.